Welcome to WitchLab Wednesday Live. I'm your host, Tiffany Boggins, and today is November 16th, 2022. Tonight on the show, we have the wonderful, the amazing Amy Blackthorn will be here. We're going to discuss her new book, Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness, A Green Witch's Guide to Self-Care. Guess what, guys? I actually read a whole book. I read the whole book, which I'm very proud of myself. It was an excellent read. We're going to get into that. Should be on in a minute, but I have a lot of things to say. But yeah, welcome back to the show. I've been gone for a couple of months. Sorry about that. Schedule stuff, things happen. It was busy. It was Halloween. You guys get it. But yeah, this is my first show since August. So thank you to Matt Oren for being on the last show. That was really fun. Let's see. Let's see about comments, yeah? Ashley, Betty Ann, Michelle, I missed you too. Michelle actually texted me to say, when are you going to have a show again? I got to say, tonight. So, woo, we're here. And I am very excited. Knowing that Amy is on the show tonight makes me very happy because, you know, we talk so well together. It's like just getting together with an old friend. Hi, Susie. Welcome to the show. Let's talk about stuff. Good stuff, fun stuff. Calendars are in the shop. We've got the new calendars, the 2023s. And I know that you are all familiar with the Witch's Date book. I'm sure you guys have all had this, right? This wonderful book that for me, it's been a staple forever. Jennifer Hewitson is the artist, and she's always been the artist. This is a 2013 that I actually just pulled out of my stuff because I was like, oh, I know I have one around here. 10-year-old one. Fantastic. These are so great. And this one I happened to pick up and look at today. Not only does it have, articles and all of the astrology stuff that you need to know, but also recipes. And this one I was reading I was flipping through it today and something caught my eye and I bookmarked it. So I can tell you guys about it. Thorn Mooney does an article in here, The Skeptical Witch. Fantastic. I love it. I know that a lot of us are skeptics. A lot of us don't believe right away. A lot of us are like, She talks about how that's actually a good thing, to be discerning, to, make it solid. So this article's in here. It's fantastic. Just want to let you guys know. Skeptical Witch. I know I can't. There we go. What? Thorn Mooney. So yeah, pick up the new one. And I was looking through what I was doing in 2013, which is pretty cool. And it's when I was working with, I was doing all the planetary work with Jason Miller, and I was working on my own line of planetary oils, which are the ones we still have in the shop. We still make them, but yeah, all my notes are in here. Love date books. I love looking back at stuff that I did. Oh, what did I do on this date 10 years ago? But yeah, calendars are in, and I love them. That's always my favorite part of the year. Like, calendars. Okay, Dark Market was an amazing event. I just want to do a really quick wrap up about that. I want to thank all of our presenters who came out. We've got Ivo Dominguez Jr., Najah Lightfoot, Estrella Taylor, Mark Williams, Yafa Spirit. You guys were amazing. All of our sponsors, Violet Flame Gifts, Magical Druid, our local wonderful shops, all the performers, all of the vendors. A huge thank you to the Dark Minions, which was our army of volunteers, and the Dark Council, which was our planning board, Dark Disciples, which is what we ended up calling the staff. So yeah, we had a lot of fun with it. The food truck people, everybody was amazing. The event space, Faye, who was our contact with the event space, fantastic human being, couldn't have done it without her. And of course, all of you who came out to the event and supported and shared it and liked it and, bought tickets and hung out and ate amazing tacos from Firefox Tacos. Best news of all, we got to give money. We got to give money to our charities. We got to give money to Kaleidoscope, which is our local LGBTQIA plus youth support center. And Star House, which is our youth experiencing homelessness shelter, which is both wonderful organizations. And of course, AFO, Abortion Fund of Ohio. So yeah, giving out money to the people who are going to do good things with it. Next year will be bigger and better with even more vendors and more shenanigans and more attractions and lots of surprises and so much fun. So, and we already know the dates. It's October 21st and 22nd for next year. So don't tell me you didn't hear about it. I'm telling you right now. Amber, hello. Yay. Okay, what else? My notes. So that's the good stuff. Bad stuff. Real quick. Specifically, the bad man. The bad man has announced that he's running for office again. Yeah, the guy who's currently looking at charges for inciting a coup on our government. Yeah, not a political expert or even an enthusiast or even a fucking fan of politics. But it seems to me that just being on trial for something like that should maybe shut down the possibility of you running for president. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever. But I just wanted to put it out there that's something disturbing that was announced this week. Yesterday, I think. Fucking gross. So, vote, people, vote. Ohio is a scary place to live. And it's like these little blue oasis in this big red grossness. Anyway, that's enough. We don't even talk about that anymore. Let's talk about fun stuff. Upcoming stuff. This Saturday at WitchLab, there's Arts Coven Ritual. So Arts Coven is an organization or a sort of a group started by Maggie Caldwell, who studied under Ivo Dominguez Jr. And they are an art witch magician. They're also a Jungian-oriented arts psychotherapist. And what they do is offer education, guided meditation, sacred art making sessions, and ritual training in online settings with some in-person opportunities. One of those in-person opportunities, if you sign up for this program, is that the ritual at WitchLab this Saturday. And I have a link for you guys, in case you want to go find out more information, get tickets, because it's not actually through WitchLab, it's through Arts Coven. So I'm going to give you a link. All that. Yeah, Betty, I also disappointed. I mean, it's not a huge surprise to us though, right? And with the situation of voting districts in Ohio, it's a travesty and it's terrible. And they were supposed to fix it and they never fixed it. And they're like, well, we'll just have an election anyway, because why not? Rachel, I'm sad you're far away from us, but I'm happy that you're in a blue state too. But yeah, no. Anyway, Arts Coven. It's a fantastic opportunity. But again, you have to go through Maggie to get tickets and information and all that fun stuff. But that's this Saturday. What else is happening? The WitchLab Book Club, Cultum Librorum, right? So they are usually on the last Sunday of every month. The next one should be November 27th. And I believe that it's the very book that we're talking about tonight, once again. Look, there's my thing. Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness. So yeah. If you want to get the book, you can get it through WitchLab, or you can get it through Amazon, or you can get it. I think you can get signed copies from Amy Blackthorn himself, I believe. We'll get that info for you too. And if you want to join the book club, I'm going to give you a link for that as well. Just make sure that you answer the questions. Otherwise, they can't know that you are a real person. So they won't let you in. That's the secret. The secret code is just answering the questions. Sunday, December 4th, the monthly Temple of the Dark Mother online discussion meeting. We'll be talking about Lamashtu, the Sumerian goddess demon. And that is our longest running event. And it's led by Mark Williams. And he is deep into researching Sumerian stuff right now. And I love getting to talk to him. He has so much fun information. It's really sweet. And so, yeah. Sign up for that. You can find that event on our Facebook page. Tarot Tea Party is on a holiday break. They'll be back in January with something all new fun. And here's the big thing that's coming up. Oh, wait. Here's something new that's coming up. This is before the big announcement. This is something that's actually really cool. We've never had this before. December 1st and 2nd, we will have a traveling aura photographer. So somebody's going to come and set up the type of camera that takes pictures of auras, and there's going to be a little session and stuff, and so you can sign up for that. You can call the shop to book an appointment. But yeah, December 1st and 2nd, Sandra Lambert, traveling aura photographer. Who knew that was a thing? I was very excited when she contacted us for this. So that's coming up. And then the following weekend, December, I believe it's 8th, 9th, 10th, WitchLab will be hosting the book release for Estrella Taylor and Jason Mankey's new book, Modern Witchcraft with the Greek Gods. It's a lot of information. Hold on. Must hydrate. Between the two of them, there will be 5 different events within 3 days. So there's going to be a book release and ritual on Thursday. And then there's 2 classes on Friday and 2 classes on Saturday, sort of trading off between one, they're teaching together, and then there's going to be some trade-offs there. But yeah, sign up for them. It's going to be fantastic. And secrety stuff, it might be in possibly our newly revamped event space. So surprises. Just show up. We'll show you where it is. That's fine. Okay, so that is all that I have to say so far. But right now, I'd like to get our guest out here. Actually, let's first look at any comments real quick. Make sure I haven't. Oh, hey, Sarah. I'm glad you're here too. Here we are. I've missed it. I've missed it as well. Yeah. Oh, Rachel says I've done aura photography a couple of times and it's so cool. Awesome. I'm very excited to see what this is all about. And hello, Christina. Hello, everyone. Okay, are you guys ready? We're gonna do this. We're gonna get this show going. Our guest tonight is a horticulturist, a podcaster, aromatherapist, artist, and a well-known badass of the magical community. Among so many other things, she is also the award-winning author of the best sellers Blackthorn's Botanical Magic, Sacred Smoke, Blackthorn's Botanical Brews, Blackthorn's Protection Magic, and her newest one, Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness. This is her 3rd time on WitchLab, making history as the first person to be on for the 3rd time. And friends, allow me to introduce my wonderful friend, Amy Blackthorn.
Yay!
Someday I'm going to get an applause machine.
You could just get a little blinky box that says applause on it.
And I, when I'm clapping and cheering, I just assume everybody at home is doing that too.
Yes.
Yes. Like the roller coaster. Yeah. Oh, comments with CC2 commies. What? Okay, I don't know what that means. So Jason McFly Kincaid was one of our performers at the Dark Market. He is the legendary Lance Cashmere, but he is also the guy who creates all of our designs. So, okay, all right. The book is amazing.
Yay!
I see which closed caption to commies. Got it. Okay, I understand now. Oh my God, yeah. So I read the whole thing. I started a week ago because I had a little mini vacation, and so I brought this with me to a hot tub. Yes. And I just spent time taking care of myself while reading the wellness book. And it was just such a perfect match. Like there were times where I'm like, oh yeah, oh, that does make me feel more relaxed. Like, this is working. So, and I think it also makes up for the fact that the first time you were on the show.
This is my favorite.
I did not read your book. I thought I knew what it was about. And if anyone who was watching that show that night remembers, it wasn't until one of my staff, Gail, as I was walking out, was like, oh, yeah, I love that book and blah, 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 and essential oils. And I'm like, wait, what? Full stop. I thought, because I'm an idiot, I thought it was an herbal book. And I could, I'm an idiot. But at that point, I still had 3 hours before the show. And I love oils. It's one of my, that's my wheelhouse. So it's just
damn.
And it was great. So, but I made up for it, read the whole book, and it was wonderful.
That makes me so happy.
Yeah, I want to congratulate you. It was an easy, it was a flowy read, and I could hear you the whole time. Yes, which is my favorite.
That is my favorite thing. The material can change from book to book, but when people say I can hear you read the book to me, that chef's kiss.
It's my favorite. And I think again, I didn't read the rhythm, but I talked to you before I read any of your books, and that that set me up, of course. And then every time I pick up a book of yours, I'm like, oh, there's Amy. I can hear your cadence. I can hear the way you put a sentence together, and I can hear how you would have said it to me. And I love it so much.
Yeah.
So I am actually going to let you talk right now. What made you write this one?
I have a few different chronic illnesses. Like as we know from previous visits, I died when I was 21. So I have a lot of chronic pain associated with it. And reading so many beautiful, beautiful books on self-care for witches, I could probably think of 20 in the last 5 years. And none of them talk about chronic pain or chronic illness or the fight that we go through with doctors on the regular. And so I just wanted to feel seen. That's the biggest thing that I talk with myself about when I look at writing a book is what's missing? What book do I want to see on the shelf? And that's what I'm doing. I love that I have so many really amazing authors that I'm friends with and people I never thought that I'd get to talk to, much less who would know who the hell I am. I'm nobody.
Says Amy Blackthorn.
Erin Murphy Hiscock knows who I am. Like, this makes me so happy. When we talk about the magic that exists, I want to show what exists, but then improve upon it as best I can. And in doing that, make something that I needed to see on the shelf 5, 10, 20 years ago. Even if it's something that there are 100 books on protection magic out there, but none of them talked about real world self-defense. None of them talked about real world threats to people in the magical community. So it's so important to make sure that, books are going to take a piece of your soul, every single one of them. I just get to choose which piece it is.
That's beautiful. That's, I think so many authors would agree with you wholeheartedly. That is an amazingly real statement. So in the introduction, you tell us a lot about where you're coming from with having needed this kind of care. And it's very real and it's very vulnerable. And some of the ways that you advocated for yourself while you were in medical care was astounding and impressive, like to the point where I'm telling other people, I'm like, oh my God, like this woman that wrote this book, who, I know I've talked about her a million times, but get this, the whole part about, not being able to walk, them telling you that you wouldn't be able to walk, and then telling you that you might have to lose your leg 3 separate times. The words that you said to me, the words that you, you said them to me here, but the words that you said have stuck with me, that you said, no, I need more care, I need more time, and I need more agency. And that just floored me. It made me stop in my tracks, like, and I read that part over and over again because it was just so strong. And fuck you, you're not taking my leg. Oh, fuck no. And I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed at how you just weren't taking it. You weren't taking what the medical community was just handing you. Nope, I'm sorry, this is just how this goes. And you're like, absolutely not. It's tough to read about what you've been through, but it's also incredibly comforting because what you're writing comes from a place where you understand what pain and healing is. Creating wellness.
And it's the creating part that we tend to give the least stock to. We just have this in their head that this appears or this happens, and it's definitely a co-creation between you and the doctor, your care team, whatever that looks like. Our society tells us that they just tell you what's happening and you deal with it, and it has to be a co-creation or it's not yours anymore. a doctor telling me I'm never going to walk again has obviously never met me, because that's not what we do here.
I'm sorry. No.
um, having the doctor walk in, oh goodness, that was probably a weekend maybe, and having him say, like, "You're doing so well. I am honestly shocked. I don't know how to process any of this. I don't know what's happening. If there's something you're doing that I can help other patients do, if I can help other patients figure this thing out, they can do this thing and heal as fast as you're healing, like, I'll do it. I don't care what it is. I'll do it." And I'm like, well, it's witchcraft.
I have a book about it. At that point, you did, but I will bring you a book about it. Yeah. It's astounding. If you hear these sort of like miracle stories where people have been told similar things, like that's just never good. It's not an option again. You're never able to use your hands again, that sort of thing. And people pull, I think it was like one of the prime stories in the movie about The Secret,
Mhm.
right? Where it mind over mundane world, that you can actually make changes inside your body with manifestation and positive thought and working towards wholeness, holistic healing. So yeah, I love it. How when you went to the publishers with it,
Mhm.
did they give you any how much control did you get over it?
More than I thought I would, but not as much as I wanted, which is, give and take.
That sounds about what I hear most.
When I first brought the subject forward, one of the members of the pub board was like, "This seems kind of niche. This is, are you sure this is something that can sell?" And I had to tell him 40% of the world has at least one chronic illness. 40.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a niche. That's almost half the population, my dude.
Right. And it's ignored a lot of times. People don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about uncomfortable things. And that much of the world being in pain is not something that other people want to hear.
Absolutely not, because there's not one thing you can do to make it all better. There's no magic wand that says, okay, let's make this all better. I talk a bit about my chronic hives. I wrote this book. This is very difficult. Last Thanksgiving, this time last year, I was covered in golf ball sized welts and bruises, blisters the size of my hand.
Oh my God.
From this chronic hives. I got diagnosed 8 years ago, and most people go into remission between 2 and 6 years. I never went into remission. I'm on cancer drugs right now to kill my immune system so that my immune system doesn't kill me.
Wow.
You'll notice I start getting real flushed.
Not
doing anything. We're just sitting here having a chat. I was taking 400 milligrams of Benadryl a day.
Oh my God. How are you staying awake?
Exactly. How did I write 5,000 words a day on an elephant's dose of Benadryl every single day for over a year?
Fuck, dude. Well, this is how you get the badass title, because you
kick people in the face and take a lot of Benadryl.
I'm saying, like, for somebody who has been through so much physical stuff and dealing with chronic pain, the fact that you have been through so many different careers, much of which are very physically involved, being a security officer, personal security, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Executive protection.
Thank you. That's the fancy word for it. Executive protection. With that, that is a very scary job. I remember things that you've told me on this show, about having to disarm people and things like that. And, and when somebody hears about these things, it's just like, oh, well, you're just, you're so capable. But I feel like even more so, because I feel like you're uphill climbing for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's amazing what you've accomplished, what you're doing. the pictures of you at the animal retreat or whatever that
Oh,
was.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh my god. Oh, those were some of my favorites. Just like pure joy pictures and just. But like that's the thing. Like you're active. You do stuff. You are constantly working.
Moving and doing it.
You're constantly moving and doing it, and you are an inspiration. And I don't know if that's the right word to say, but I find you to be incredibly inspiring. And on top of it, you are one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I love talking to you. You're bubbly and you're positive. It's the amount of people who I deal with I deal with the regular people, and not everybody is bubbly and happy. And usually they don't have half the reason to be pissed off with the world, So, you're just like this shining beacon of like amazingness. Betty Ann says, is your flush hot? Is it like a hot flush? If you have hives that pop up with heat, menopause will be so miserable. Thanks, Betty.
Yes, Betty, it is hot. Just the spots that turn red. Luckily, with the medication that I'm currently on, this is as red as I'll get. It doesn't get a chance to become a hive, knock wood, which has been really amazing because about a year and a half ago, I went on another wave of awful, and I was on prednisone for over a year. It started with 65 milligrams twice a day, which is just a terrible amount of prednisone.
Yeah.
Even 5 milligrams is miserable, but this 130 milligrams a day is terrifying to doctors. If you look at my x-rays right now, just made us with cheese and duct tape.
And yet still moving and shaking.
That's right.
Where'd you go?
Snuggling all the otters.
Oh my God. Very jealous. The pool pictures. I'm so jealous. So whenever I'm reading a book and I, at one point, because usually it's like, oh, I want to talk about that, or that's an interesting point or whatever. There's one part what actually makes me get up and go get my phone to start taking notes. The part in this book where I was like, oh, I don't want to forget this, is when you talk about PTSD,
mm-hmm.
and then you talk about complex PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
So CPTSD. You liken it to a disco ball of a situation, a disco ball of traumas. It's all just one big sparkly mess. And it was like, oh shit, I gotta get my phone. I gotta start taking notes because I
and I get paid to do this.
So that's the joy though. Like you still bring joy. Even it is a book about how to feel better when you don't feel good, and you bring in the joy to it. It's there were so many parts that just made me giggle. The tarot spreads. Oh, some of the tarot spreads. Oh, there's so many good parts, and I think that's why I was able to finish it. I have terrible ADHD, like really, really, really bad. So most books I get through about half, and then I'll skim and stuff. But like this one, I read all the way to the end where you thanked me for being on this journey with you. I loved it. Let's see. Christina says, I struggle with chronic issues and deal with daily chronic back pain. It helps to know I'm not alone. Got to get your book. It is fantastic. So, this, I was like, coming down from just doing a lot of work, sort of exhaustion, like work exhaustion, and the tips that you give and the advice and the guided meditation to meet your plant ally and your familiar. I actually used that last night when I was going to sleep.
That makes me.
I did. It made me so happy because it was so easy to visualize what you said. What the stone ground and how it was smooth from lots of people being walked over it and blah. And it was, yeah.
The first time I did that, the very, very first, I'm walking through the woods trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be. and all I can see is this little lattice fence that goes along the wooded path. And I'm going, well, how did iron fencing get here? And I'm like, and I look closer, and they're blackberry brambles that have just made this natural fence along the pathway in my space. And I'm like, okay, this is the very first ally to pop up. Okay.
That's because you talk about surprise. That's when, because the difference between like an actual communication coming in or what you're just projecting into the space around you, the things that are the surprise are the things that aren't coming from you. I when I've done meditation, that's the part that's always like, what is that? Where did that come from? That's clearly not from me. And it was so cool. And that little guided meditation that you have in there really triggered something for me. Like it really worked. And they don't always. So I really liked it. And yes, Rachel, you do need this book. It is a way to relax. Reading the book itself literally relaxed me. And yes, positive thinking, Betty Ann, positive thinking does so much to improve your mood and health. And not to get on that, like, oh, you just need to positive think more to feel better. I don't, it's not going to make you isn't physically feel better, but it'll get you sort of, it changes your body.
It really does.
Yeah. It puts you more in line to feel better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, let me see. I had some other things that I wanted to talk to you about. Let's see. Disco ball. Oh, this was something I found really fascinating. So you talk about identifying pain, sitting with it, and sort of processing it in the moment. And then afterwards to eat something because it lets your body know that everything is safe now.
Yes.
It's as a way to help that body trauma response to pass. So, and you even mentioned, even just chewing gum. This struck me, this hit home for me because when a lot of my stress hits me when I'm driving and when I'm alone. And so when there's a spot in my car, I know how to get to it without looking at it. It's where my gum is. And as soon as I start chewing the gum, all that anxiety sort of melts and goes away. And I never put that together before reading that thing about how once you're eating, then your brain's like, oh, okay.
I can't be dying if I...
Right. The danger is past. If we're eating, the danger is past. And then your body actually gets a physical, okay, shut it down, which is so hard because so often when our anxiety pops up, our body just takes over. And it's just like, oh, we're in that mode now. And even though you're not bothered mentally, your body is still going through this, heart rate changes and the fear response. So yeah, chewing gum can just kind of bring you back.
I'll go you one better. Do you know what EMDR is?
No.
Eye movement reprocessing and distribution for
the
PTSD. The lights and the paddles.
Yeah. I've never done it, but I've heard people say the light stuff before because you wear a thing. Yeah.
The next best thing, one of the ways you can get those same results, has been walk and talk therapy. Because you're still getting the movement, you're still doing the eye processing because you have to watch where you're going. You're still moving your body, so you're closing that loop. The anxiety loop wants something to do, so you're giving it something to do by walking, by moving around, by looking where you're going, by maneuvering the terrain. So it's getting you out of the trauma loop that happens when you're stuck in the scary, dangerous parts of your psyche. So getting the emotional processing going and solidifying that by having that movement with your body has a lot of the same results as EMDR therapy. And
so, is this why going for walks in the woods is such a relaxing therapy?
Absolutely, because it's sort of like a massage for your brain.
Yeah. My boyfriend, Jason, he goes for walks literally every day, sometimes 2 a day. It's part of his thing. If he doesn't do it, he feels off. And I really think that it helps to center him. And when we hang out, he often makes me go for walks with him because I don't generally, that's not the way that I choose to spend my time. But when we do, it's wonderful. I love it. I love the whole, like, just walking through the woods and the processing and the just breathing in that air. It feels fantastic. And afterwards, I always thank him for dragging me out on walks because some of us just need to be drug out to the things that are good for us, right? Like having a friend help you do something that's good for you. Because I definitely am. I'm too busy. Oh, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to sit and read a book. I'm too busy to go for a walk. Blah blah blah. But then when I do, I'm like, God damn! I sleep so much better. I feel so much better. There's so much anxiety. And yes, we find all the cool bones when we go. So many people ask how I get so many of the bones for the shop. And I do have some suppliers and things, but a lot of them just come from my walks. Like we find whole deer sometimes, like, and then we're all like, how many bones can you fit, buddy? I don't know. Get empty your coffee cup. We're going to put all the little bones in here. We've literally done this many times.
I just have a vision of you with chipmunk cheeks trying to fit more bones.
You gotta put on. But yeah, it's amazing because, and you talk about this, self-care is difficult to do because we feel like it is a reward with it, or that we're, it's not worthy of it. But it's not. It is like maintenance. It is like brushing your teeth, but it's just as important, right?
It is.
But I'm just, I'm really good at watching TV and playing on my phone. Like I'm super good at that. But I have wonderful people who make me do other things, which is really good. We've got some comments. So Casey says, we're reading this for book club this month, and I'm only on page 65. I really love the Making the Mundane Magical chapter so much. I agree / feel it really is an important thing, and I love the tips and advice. Thank you. Yes. Making the mundane magical. You want to talk to us about that a little bit?
Absolutely. It actually, it's a chapter that was originally going to be in Botanical Brews.
Okay.
And it got to the point where I kept writing and writing, and it was too big for the book. And I'm like, this doesn't really fit anyway. It really needs to be in its own thing. It needs to be in something else. And so when I pulled it, I saved it in a separate file, and I really thought about, where does this need to go? So that was actually part of the reason that it was such a invested project, because I already had 14,000 words written about how to be in your body as a magical person.
Mm-hmm.
Especially as someone with ADHD, they like to categorize as having, what's the word? Hypochondriac. They try and they say, ADHD. Then one of the things, and they talk about hypochondria, and I firmly believe that that's wrong.
Yeah, interesting.
We're processing 40% more information at rest than neurotypical people. So what is happening is we're experiencing this sensation, and our body's trying to figure out where it is, why it is, how it got there, and how to make it go away. So it's not hypochondria. It's not necessarily understanding what's happening and trying to get to the point where you can figure out what's happening in your own body. I have to be here full time, guys. You're just visiting.
So we process 40% more. Is that why it's so madness? Is that why we don't have any workspace for our brains? Like, because
our CPUs are burning out.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, I listened to while I was cleaning my altar, which I did the other day. This took me 6 hours. Look back at other episodes. Look at the Matt Oren episode. This thing is just a pile of stuff. It looks good, but it was a total mess. And I don't think I've cleaned it since I've started WitchLab Wednesday Live. So it took me 6 hours to do this. But while I did that, I listened to podcasts, and I listened to Mark Maron talk to Elizabeth Banks, and then another person who is a writer. She just wrote Abbott Elementary. But when he talked, the first thing when he was like, "Oh, welcome to the show, blah blah blah, how you doing?" Both of them said the same thing. He's like, how you feeling? And I'm like, I'm tired. And I'm just like, huh.
I feel that.
Is that just a thing? A successful person is just tired all the time? Because I kind of feel like I'm getting that trap. And I think that not knowing how to rest, not knowing how to bring wellness into daily life, I think is part of my problem. And I think that that's why your book is helping me tremendously.
The other part is we're programmed, we're told from birth that we are only worth what we can produce. So we produce awesome things, we have beautiful projects, and it's amazing. But every time we meet this bar, the bar gets raised. So you're like, okay, I got to be up here. Until in 2021, I wrote 2 books. I started a novel and an oracle deck. Like, why? What? Who has that? I don't even have that kind of time, and I was there.
Do you look back and be like, what the fuck was I thinking? This was, but you also can't drop it. You can't let it go.
Exactly.
And I've seen that oracle deck. You've sent me pictures, and it is fantastic. I'm very excited. That is a beautiful deck. Okay, so we've got Jim says chewing gum good for ADHD too. Why is that? Why is that good for us? To like, how does it help us? Is it like a fidget toy?
Yes,
for our
your
mouth?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That makes sense. Rachel says, every time I'm at the oncologist, my blood pressure is high. It's normal anywhere else or with any other doctor. I've even tried watching kitten videos while they take my blood pressure. Oh, fuck. I love you, Rachel. I love you so much. I miss you. Still high. I know it's all in my head, but it just happens because of past experience. And of course, I mean, you are in a place where you dealt with something very difficult, horrible, terrifying. Yeah, it's not surprising that would be a place that it would raise every time. Any advice for Rachel as far as like?
Absolutely. It's the Schrodinger thing. When we're observing this, of course it's going to be high because we're observing it. That's one of the things that biofeedback does, is it helps us pay attention to it so that it can reset itself, so it can come back down. So practicing biofeedback loop meditations is actually really great. You just take separate sections of your body and tense them for a second and release them. Move on to the next, tense it for a couple seconds and release it. And you're sort of like you're alphabetizing the muscles in your body.
And you called it biofeedback, what?
Meditation.
Biofeedback meditation. That's when you tense and release. Okay.
You're giving body the feedback that you need, but it kicks the anxiety that you're feeling and the ramped upness that your body is experiencing. It gives it something to do. It gives it to fuel to do something else. So it's not raising all your blood pressure. When I'm escorting people to the court for domestic violence court, for family court, I give them a job. You have to sit there and wait for God knows how long. Like, it's like jury duty in hell. I give them a job, alphabetize the muscles in your body, and I'll go through and tense one for a couple seconds and release it, and then move on to the next one. So they have something for your anxiety to do. Not only it's like a massage you can do with your brain.
You know, what's interesting. So Austin Osman Spare used to use that as a way to do his sigil magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that's one of the ways that he would activate his, getting into the conscious, subconscious, talking to each other. That's a way that he could actually, like getting all of his.
When I do guided meditations, I have a class that I do for shops over Zoom or in person. That's part of the meditation to get people to go into their neutral, safe place, is walking them through that in a way that just zones out their inhibitions, their anxieties. I'll know it just by watching, because about 30 seconds in, they're like, okay, this is what I can expect. And they'll get the fidgets, their toes will walk, or their fingers will, and they'll get the itchies, and they're like, okay, once the entire room is settled into their bodies, then I know we can move to the next step. So I'll just keep talking them through the different muscle parts of their body until everybody in the room is on the same page.
My mom used to put us to sleep by doing that. The whole like, relax your toes, relax your feet, relax your ankles. By the time she got to my knees, I was out. Like very rarely did we get all the way to the top of my head because it was so soothing. And it was like, oh, as you're paying attention to that part and you're, because you can mentally put yourself into that part, into your little toe knuckle, right? Into your ankle, and then moving. And
yeah, then the amount of tension that lives in your kneecap. Amazing.
I was a child then, but I couldn't imagine, now it's like, oh, is that what that is in my back? Oh, right. Oh, that thing.
That part of the book when you're talking about where do you hold your pain? Like, is it in your shoulders? Is it in your hips? Is it in your glutes? Like,
oh, that made me think a lot. That was a lot there, as in like, what if the whole, what your trauma responses or your fight or flight response is where pain is related to that, or related to where the pain was. That was fantastically eye-opening. Getting ready to fight, right? Your hands, your feet, getting ready to stabilize. Terrifying. But it brought an awareness to the fight, flight, fawn. What's the other one? Freeze. Yeah. And when you talk about the disco ball of PTSD, I know that in my past, I've had all those responses, you're like, complex PTSD is like having a whole childhood of bad shit. You're like, I can liken my childhood to a crazy, freaky disco ball and all of the different things that happened, because I've definitely had all of those responses, to the different things that have happened. But to think about it that way, that then it actually sits there. While I was reading your book, the Body Keeps the Score kept coming up. So that is the other book on my bedside table right now. And it's been there for like 6 months or so, because I found it at a library sale. I was like, oh, library sale? Oh, I will always look at the library sale books. And I'm like, oh, okay, because I've heard a couple of different people mention this. I was like, it's like $2. I'll buy this book. And I started reading it.
Rude book.
I only got about halfway into it, but because it brings up so much shit, I mean, I know I have to process these things, but it was getting, because I was reading it before bed and it was getting really intense. It was getting to be too much. I was starting to have nightmares about things, and I was like, well, maybe it's time I back it off a little bit. But the things that you were saying reminded me so much of that. And then I saw that it was in your notes, like things to read. And I'm like, I knew it. Like, because you have a lot of the same sort of like, where it's held, because the body does remember. The body does know where it stored that excess panic, and then created a sort of a travel way to it, an easier way to get there, and then creates little pockets. Is at least how I'm picturing it.
Well, this book is definitely a seam ripper for you.
It's 100%. But it was so gentle. It didn't do what Body Keeps the Score did to me. So I was able to finish it because it was more about what to do about it now. Right? Like, okay, so this shit happened. What do I do about it now? How do I handle it now? And so this was really just a gentle, beautiful way, and also applied to my love of the fact that there's more than just the mundane in the world. And your whole bringing magical into the mundane, that whole chapter, I think it was Casey was talking about, where you're like, no, everything you do can be magical. Like, washing your body in the morning, brushing your teeth, doing all of these things that we just do, but making them an opportunity to bring magic, to think about your intentions, to think about manifestation, to bring the positive that we want from magic into our daily routine. Rachel says that ADHD is actually a superpower, which, you know what? I feel like it is. But it also is a huge hindering pain in my ass. When I was listening to one of the ADHD podcasts that I listened to, and they were talking, and this was so illuminating to me. They were talking about how our working mental space is only so big. it's a little bit smaller. And so when it gets cluttered with things or stuff that's unnecessary, we shut down because we're like, I can't process all of this right now. This isn't, and also you've got other things going on. But that made me feel better about the fact that I do have trouble in those times where too many people are talking to me at once and I can't organize my thoughts. But yeah, I think I lost where I was going with that. So pretty much just proved my point. Jean says, I finally made it. Belly dance class. Oh, welcome, Jean. Yay. So Jean is the one who runs our book club. Welcome, Jean. We missed you. And you made it. Yay. And belly dance class. That's okay if that runs over. That's fucking fun.
Self-care.
Wonderful. Yes. Self-care. I took belly dancing for, I think I took it like for 6 months. And I loved it. I was dancing in my kitchen all the time, just like counting steps and shaking stuff. And I love that. I loved it.
Shahrazad's with your morning coffee.
Right, totally. Yes, 100%. Can I do this without making it spill? Get my hips to move and then my chest to move without making my coffee spill? It was fun. Doing 3 things at once because you can't not do the other thing because you will forget if you wait. Oh, Betty. So I have to work with a notepad next to me because otherwise when I'm doing stuff and I'll be like, oh fuck, I didn't do that thing. Don't do it now. Just write it down. Write it down. And then I'll have like a list of 7 things I have to do before I finish this email that I'm working on. Fuck me. My therapist gave me that exact advice for when anxiety goes up at work. And I'm guessing she's talking about, because I think this came through when you were talking about the biofeedback stuff. Biofeedback has been hugely helpful. I think that's the problem, is that so many people, they know there's a way that they can do something, but they're not exactly sure what it is. So Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness actually spells it out for you. My next appointment is in a month. I'm going to try that. Excellent. Let us know how it goes. Let me know how it goes. Message me. Message Amy.
I'm very interested to find out.
Me too. Oh yeah, Jean. Well, you missed the opening because you were belly dancing. Sexy dancing. But yeah, we talked about it. We're getting some people on board for the next meeting. If you have a list of things to do, cover all but 2 things until those are done, then move it down. Helped my kids get their rooms clean, math done. ADHD tricks are great. They are great. If you are somebody who suffers from ADHD, start listening to podcasts. Start understanding. Get diagnosed. If you want, medication can be hugely fucking helpful. Seriously, I didn't get on medication until I was in my early 40s. And I just recently switched my medication. I finally got on something that was a little bit better for me. It took months of figuring it out, but it's fucking worth it when you get there, because then it's not so hard. And I can't survive without sticky notes either. You saw one stuck to the book here. Got caught with that one.
The notes app in my phone is just sort of running list of all the ideas and things and stuff prioritized. But the most important stuff is at the top, and everything else sort of filters down from my grocery list to what teas are out of stock that need to be replaced and everything in between.
I've literally thought about doing a whole show of just reading off the notes that are on my phone, because they are ridiculous, random, bonkers. I have random quotes from people, and I'll write down their name and the date and everything. I have death wishes. It's just come up because people they'll if I talk about Mortellus, or if I talk about the new Shiva Honey book, The Devil's Death, that comes up, and then my friends will be like, "Well, this is what I want." And I'm like, all right, well, hold on. let me get it down. Because at some point they might die. And then I'll be like, wait, I got it. I got the song they wanted. I got what they want. I got their instructions on what's going to happen to their body. But all that shit's in my notes. So if I start reading my notes, it's going to get real weird. Jean says, my mom just told me yesterday that one psychiatrist in my youth diagnosed me with ADHD. So, I'm 38 and just learned this. And your mom didn't bother to tell you. That's frustrating. That's frustrating. I have notes for notes. Same. But we're getting off on an ADHD tangent. So weird, right?
But at least we feel seen.
Two people having a discussion and a bunch of people watching who all have the same problem. We're like, yeah, and this sucks. I've started writing emails and stuff with like, bold prints and like things that, dates, times, new headings, because that's how I need to see it. It's so much easier because fuck, you give me a paragraph. I'm like,
yep.
I might make it to the end of this. I might not. Discouraging when a med doesn't work, but there are so many types, right? And so many types. So getting, and rarely is ADD or ADHD a singular diagnosis.
Comorbidity is the word. It is.
What's that?
Comorbidity with so many other different issues.
Is that what that's called?
When concurrent diagnoses, comorbidity. Yeah.
That I can only imagine because it's almost never singular. There's always something else, and that determines coping skills, medication. So it can be really specific to you. But just saying get diagnosed, get medication is. I had to cry to get help that I needed. I literally had to break down because people don't want to listen.
No.
But you have advocated for yourself. Do you have any advice for people? Because again, the things that you have done in extremely difficult situations where you have stood up and said, no, I don't want that. Do you have advice for other people as far as how to be brave like Amy Blackthorn?
Rehearsal. Rehearsal. Write down the script. Practice it in the mirror. Practice it sitting at your morning coffee. Practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes habit. So when confronted with this question, this, well, why do you think you have ADHD? It's all ADHD, and now that diagnosis for ADD has gotten rolled in, everything's part of one umbrella. Why do you think you have this? Well, I can practice the litany of things. Well, you can look me in the eye. You can talk to me like a person, so you must be fine. No, that's not really a thing. They've disproven this at this study in this time, this place. Guess what? I've done all my research. Here's the checklist. Merry Christmas.
That's the fucking frustrating thing is that it's like when you go to talk to a medical professional, you know more than they do. Because listening to the podcast that I have, they talk about, when you go to medical school, it's like a paragraph in a book and it's not delved into. And there's so much information now that's out there that you have to go looking for and then sort of catalog and put together and then be your own sort of ADD doula for your life. Like where you have to be the one who sort of helps yourself figure this out. And it's frustrating.
Not only is it frustrating, but it makes people feel alone. And that's what kills people. That right there, that being told that you're fine and you're not, and you feel alone, that loneliness kills people.
Yeah. That's the bitch, is feeling isolated, feeling like, and this is why I encourage people to listen to these things, because I swear to God, because I think it's just me. I think this is just my weird problem. And then I listen to somebody who has the exact same weird problem and I'm screaming. I'm like, yes, exactly. And there's this feeling of being seen, that there's validity to what I've been saying all this time, or not saying, because I don't want to get made fun of anymore. Right. Like, yep. I'm tired of being made to feel stupid or, absent-minded. Ugh. Trust me, all I do is run through the lists, but I still forget shit. I still drop balls. Plates still stop spinning sometimes because I have too many things.
Mhm.
And yes, Betty, being a woman does suck because they do not listen, and we're hysterical because we have a uterus, and it's frustrating. Word. Anyway, I feel like we're divulging into another. Tell me more about your book.
I was so tickled that I got to put magical squares in this book because I feel
You
like
did.
they don't get talked about, utilized, explored enough in mainstream witchcraft books. People's that stuff's over in the dusty occult tomes.
Oh
Like
yeah, that's that magician shit. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so magical squares, kind of what we're talking about here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but stuff
Mm-hmm.
like this. And the Sator being yeah. So this is the one you'll most likely see the most is like the Sator one. But yeah, go on. Sorry.
No, there's a point in every book where they wake me up and I think of doing something in a way that I don't feel like anybody's ever done before, and I've got to jump up and I start writing, and it just, the next thing I know, I look down and it's 8 hours later. I haven't gotten up to drink or pee or eat a food or anything
You
else.
don't know you're hungry.
Right. The hyperfixation has taken over my body, and next thing you know, you've got 14,000 words on self-defense in a protection book.
Well, your hyper focus is working for me, and I think so many people. You have sold over 100,000 copies of books, so there's a counter on your website.
There is a counter on my website. I'm really low as of when the last I updated it was in May. So fantastic. I absolutely love what we're doing. I wanted to put the planetary squares in there. I wanted people to understand how that could work for their wellness magic, and out of that grew the idea of creating thought forms to place in your ritual tools to get them to help you with your care tasks. Like, I'm like, why has no one ever thought of this?
So good. Yeah, to the creating servitors. Yes, I love servitors are something I used early on in my magical education, and always been a huge fan, and never thought about using them the way that you suggested. Like, it's this is here to help me. This is here to make me recognize it, be healthier, protect me, right? Or whatever because you have them specifically. What was your protection one? Was it the pentacle?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that certain altar items can then be your servitor for working on this particular thing, thing that you need work with.
The first one that came to me was the will of the Athame being used to help find a new doctor.
Right.
There's so many shitty doctors, and you're like, okay, I need a new doctor, but it's like pulling teeth to actually get me to go and do the thing, because they're so exhausting, because they discount your experiences, because they don't listen. Like, it sucks all the dopamine out of the room, and I don't want to do it.
It's exhausting when you have to educate them. It's exhausting when you have to go to somebody who is, supposedly more educated than you, but then you have to be like, no, in this particular instance, this is everything that I know, as in like, and I need your help to get the right care that I need. Time, care, and agency. I will never forget those words ever, because it made me realize that I have more control than I think I do. I'm a wuss when it comes to dealing with people in authority. I'm like, oh, whatever you think is the right thing, and that's a terrible stance to have. It really is. I don't get anywhere with that. But yeah,
That's it. We're getting matching tattoos. Time, care, agency. Pay them.
I love it. Time, care, agency. Fucking agency. Give me a little fucking control. I get to have a say. And I think that your example is such a shining example of just demand it. Just do it. Yeah, so being a woman sucks. People don't listen, right? And then Jean's like, I have the same issue of PCOS, which I have friends who suffer from this. It fucking sucks. My friend has it with endometriosis, and some professionals don't even think this shit exists. You know, going to somebody, to a doctor about female issues, and the bottom line is, they're like, we don't really know that much about it yet. What the fuck? There's erectile dysfunction fucking clinics on every corner, but we don't know really how the female system works so much. It's maddening.
The history of gynecology is
archaic.
This stuff nightmares are made of.
It's fucking ridiculous, and they just don't seem to expand. They just don't seem to go in that direction for new information. The amount of things that are still a fucking mystery about what's going on down there, to them, not to us. We're like, no, we figured it out. But they're all like, no, that's not real.
Like the wandering uterus.
Come on. Squirting, you're just peeing. Shut the fuck up. You literally don't know anything. It makes me nuts.
Do you know about the wandering uterus?
No.
The idea.
Familiar. What is that?
It was the idea. They thought the uterus actually floated around the body because of hysteria or whatever bullshit excuse it was this week.
My uterus is in my brain.
Yes. And it causes hysteria and all sorts of other things. It's ridiculous. I mean, I feel like we haven't progressed too much farther from the wandering uterus because there's not money in it. There's not fame in it. There's not boner pills in it for them. I don't know.
And they don't give a shit about women's health care anyway.
No sex and topless dancers.
So, Jean wants to know, what's your favorite part of the book?
I think right now, the idea of the agency that creating servitors with your ritual tools provides has to be my favorite part, because I feel like the entirety of the medical system just exists to take agency away from people. When we look at people who are giving birth being rushed through a major traumatic procedure, Pitocin shouldn't exist. Just so that it's not for the mother, it's not for the baby, it's not for anyone involved in that process except the doctor, to make as much money as they possibly can. And studies have been done to show that Pitocin makes it more difficult for the person giving birth to bond with the baby.
Like, it absolutely does. Yeah, it is a chemical that's supposed to induce, but all it does is block the actual oxytocin that's supposed to be happening.
Yep.
I've had 3 kids, and I'm very lucky that I've had the same midwives for all of them, home births. But the thing is, they taught me so much. They made me feel better about the fact that they know so much more than doctors do. And that is scary. But about childbirth, about this particular thing, they were calm and sweet and wonderful and so educational. I took classes from them before I gave birth. And so I have huge problems with the way that medicine treats pregnancy.
Absolutely.
It's not an illness, but they treat it as something that needs to be in and out. And watching specials about, like, can anyone explain to this mother why she had a C-section after 5 hours of labor? What the fuck happened here? Like, why? Because they needed her out.
Mm-hmm. They needed her bed for somebody else.
They needed it done. So let's see. Betty says, like when the pharmacist tells you that your doctor prescribed a med that can't be taken with the last med they prescribed. Who's in charge here? Come on, guys. That's maddening. I can only imagine, because you've been with the physical trauma and things that you've dealt with and the amount of meds that you have to juggle.
Yeah.
And then you have to do your own research.
Yeah, I spent 8 months on a waiting list to get into Johns Hopkins to see the preeminent doctor for chronic urticaria. He's the guy that the federal government goes to test all these medications for whatever it is. And he was doing a study on, all he has studied for the last 25 years is my disease. That's it. 1 in 2 million people get it. It's not like there's a lot of money in it because it's rare. So I waited for 8 months to get in with this guy, hoping to be able to get in on this study for this this drug that's been used for asthma very successfully. It's a injectable biologics. I actually had, there's one drug for this disease. It's called Xolair, Xolair. It's a biologic. This disease is so, we'll just be honest, it's fucking awful. It's in the category that they refer to as suicide diseases because people kill themselves because they have it. So there's one drug for this medication, and this illness is so awful that you'd rather take the risk of this Xolair. You have to sign a piece of paper saying, I know this drug can kill me instantly. You have to sign your life away to even attempt to get this drug. You have to have an EpiPen in your hand, not on your person, not in your purse. You have to have it. They have to make sure that you have it in your hand to be administered the drug. It gets injected in both of the back of your arms once a month. And it's cold maple syrup being injected into your arms. And so you have to wait for an hour to make sure that you don't die instantly on the spot while you're in the room and they're looking at you. And so I did it.
They're looking at you.
While they're looking.
You're gonna die? She looks okay. She looks okay. Wait, no. She looks okay. That's terrifying. That's horrible.
It took 12 hours to try to kill me. I went home. I did my dinner things.
So it did try to kill you.
It absolutely did. I got home. I figured I'd hang out. I couldn't sleep. I don't actually sleep. People, how do you get so much done? I sleep about 3 hours a night if I'm lucky. Some nights it's 45 minutes. Some nights it's 3 hours. So yeah, I get a lot done because I do not sleep. So it's 4 a.m. by this point, and out of nowhere, just golf balls apparated into my mouth. I couldn't figure out what was happening. It was none of this slowly starting to itch that you see in the movies. Just one minute I'm fine, and 1 minute my mouth is full of golf balls.
Oh my God.
And so my dumbass drives myself to the emergency room. I should not have done that. And I walk into the front door of the emergency room, and very, very bored, harried looking woman says, "And what are you here for?" And
you're like, "Look at me."
And she looks up at me and she says, "Oh, we'll get you in a room right now."
Yeah. Now. Find me a doctor now.
This is June. I only know this because my allergist's son was graduating high school that morning, and so I knew he wasn't going to be in the office.
Oh my God.
So I felt so bad. I'm in the emergency room. I cannot speak because my mouth is full of golf balls. I'm now, my head is 4 times the size it normally would be. And I can't speak because my mouth is full of golf balls. And so they had to call the head of pharmacology for the hospital system to call my allergist and say, what did you give her? What did you do to this woman?
Right. What are we treating here?
Because it stays in your system for a month, I had to be on methylprednisolone, like a ridiculous dose, for a month. Then I was able to step down to regular old asshole prednisone.
So what does prednisone do?
Prednisone is a steroid. So It helps shrink all the tissues and helps keep your body from reacting to the thing that it knows is bad.
Got it.
So I had IV Benadryl, IV methylprednisolone, and a bunch of other things. They shouldn't have discharged me. I didn't have health insurance at that point. So they were like, we're going to leave it to you. And I had to choose whether I was going to live or have a house to be in. So I chose to drive myself back home.
Oh my God.
It was real bad. Our healthcare system sucks.
Oh, it's fucking atrocious.
But my allergist, my current allergist, this was 10 years ago. No, 8 years ago. My current allergist kept trying to talk me into trying this again. I'm like, you realize I almost died. Well, that was a long time ago. So I waited for 8 months to get in with the head of Johns Hopkins to try the next generation version of that drug that may have been okay, or the other study he was doing for this. The drug's called Dupixent. One of these two studies. And so I get in. I've waited 8 months. I've built this up in my head that this guy's going to fix all my problems. Don't do that. That's going to disappoint yourself. And so he said, look, Dupixent works with cases that aren't very bad. Like you're way too advanced for this to help you. So even if the trial, I had missed the trial, it was going on 8 months prior.
Wow.
He said, even if you had been able to know that you were in the trial, the control drug was Xolair, which I had a reaction to, so I wouldn't have been able to be in the study anyway. And the next generation, they referred to it as son of Xolair. He said Xolair works by pulling the allergy particles out of your blood and depositing them outside in the waste deposit, into the feces, into the exit. He said most people, when they have this issue, their allergy number is between 75 and 100. He said your number is 5. There's nothing for the Xolair to attack, so it attacked your body. I'm like, well, that makes a lot of sense,
Yep.
but also doesn't make me feel any better. So
Wow.
it's I'm really looking forward to the next round of something they hope can do this. But I wound up being told, yes, this drug's been around for 75 years. It is not safe. It has not been used for this long because it's safe. If you use it more than a year, your risk of leukemia goes from 30% to 65%.
Holy fuck.
But it's either that or die.
Damn. So you deal with some very large problems.
And they're all stress related.
And yet you manage to continue to thrive and, again, be an inspiration. And again, I don't know if that's the right word. Is that an insulting thing to say to someone? I don't even know.
It can be a charged word.
Okay.
Because
it feels something.
There's the inspiration porn of, people saying, oh, look at this disabled person and how they persevered through and they make themselves feel better on the backs of people who are disabled, who are chronically ill, and so it can be a charged word. So thank you for looking out.
Yeah. Is there a better way to try to say what I'm saying? Because this is what I'm trying to do.
Hopeful? Hopeful, maybe?
Yes, absolutely. You make me feel like there are ways to feel better. And I think that's the point of your book, right?
Yeah.
That wellness you can take it into your own hands and you can actually have some fucking control over it. And I think that's what's beautiful about it. Giving us agency.
If I could wrap up anything and give it to you for the holidays, it would definitely be agency. That's been my soapbox from day one, book one, is magic is agency, and that's why we need it. That's why it's so important to nurture that in other people, whether their magic looks like yours or not.
Absolutely.
When people try and talk poorly about those who utilize Bane work, it's like, this is the last resort for people who can't go to law enforcement, who can't get a lawyer and sue somebody else, who can't do X, Y, and Z. Like, you don't get to tell people how to utilize their magic, how to express their own agency. It may not be for you, and that's fine. No one's going to make you do anything that you don't want to.
Right.
But this is how we take back some of those pieces of ourselves.
And I think that's one of the things that's so attractive about witchcraft in the first place, is that it does give you agency. It gives you a sense of control. It gives you a sense of strength,
Mm-hmm.
something to stand on, something to work from. And then the more that you use it, the more that you do it, the more you see the benefit of it.
Absolutely. In the months after my release from the hospital, I was in physical therapy 5 days a week, 7 hours a day for 3 years. That was just what was outside of the hospital.
5 days a week,
7 hours a day for 3 years. That was physical therapy, occupational therapy, and aquatherapy.
Occupational therapy?
I broke both my arms. I had no feeling in my hands.
Oh, is that what that is? That's
Oh. So I have no supination in this hand. I can turn my palm up on here. I cannot do that here.
Wow.
I have both. This elbow was completely shattered. There wasn't an elbow to be had. I broke both my radius and my ulna. They did awful things to my skin.
Oh my God.
So I had to relearn how to use my hands. I had to learn how to feed myself. I can still remember the very first thing that I was able to feed myself. It was almost a month after being in the hospital, and the occupational therapist brought this really fat handled spoon in there and bent it just the right angle. I could only grip it with these 3 fingers because I didn't have full use of my hand. But she cut up some grilled cheese and broccoli for me, and I was able to feed myself, and I sobbed because at that point I was in my first coven. I wanted to be a priestess. I wanted to do my thing. So my high priestess scrounged around and got me a laptop. I was pecking out my lessons for my high priestess with a pencil in my mouth because my hands were toast. So
that's impressive.
Thank you.
I mean, come on. Yeah.
The being able to know that I'm the same person who did that is what tells me that I can write a book on whatever the hell I feel like today. Because I'm the same person who was pecking that shit out with a pencil in my mouth to make sure that my voice was heard. So even, it's year 3, and there are people who have been coming there almost as long as I have, who would pull me aside and say, I see you in here every day, and you always have a smile on your face. I broke 27 bones in one shot, and they're still amazed that I have a kind word for every person, even if it hurts, even if it's miserable, that they can take away my hands, they can take away my feet, they can't take away me.
Because you weren't projecting that on other people. You weren't taking your pain and turning it around. You were working from a different place, a different perspective, a place of love. Magic is love. That is how we make it. It's created by the feelings of love, and you being that person and being so loving, even in the state you were in, that aided your magic, that fed your magic. That's beautiful. And what a fucking hard time to live through, friend. And I see you, and I appreciate everything that you're doing to help other people who are in that situation.
That means a lot.
You mean a lot. You're doing a really great thing for our community, and even those people who aren't, necessarily magic based, hearing that there's a way, so showing them the way, literally showing us the way. Yeah. And done so beautifully. Like I said, I love this book. I think this might be my favorite of yours. And that's saying a lot because Botanical Brews, I mean, that was my absolute favorite.
Pink.
Right. Cheers. But no, this one, and I love protection. Your protection magic book was everything I wanted it to be.
How to kick somebody in the face and make a man say thank you.
How to kick somebody in the face, how to use brick dust, and how to get out of duct tape. It had everything. And I wasn't sure what you were going to do next. And this is a beautiful follow-up to that. So that leads to the next question. What's next?
Because I can't sit still for too long.
I know.
Spontaneously combust.
I can't believe that we haven't even talked about what's next yet, because usually by this time in the conversation, authors are like, I know, that's the book I already wrote. I don't care. They're like, I'm doing this now. But it's time for me to ask you, what are you excited about now? What are you working on?
I have 2 projects in the pipeline. One of which is a sequel to Blackthorn's Botanical Magic.
Okay.
I am over the moon. So when, those of you who've been here before, you know that we sell the proposal of a book. You don't have to have a whole book written before you can sell your book. So this book that I'm writing right now is actually the book that was supposed to be first. It was the book I originally proposed to Judica before Weiser had ever heard of Amy Blackthorn. Judica and I go way back, so she came to me and she was like, "Why aren't you writing for us?" I'm like, "Here's a book." So this is the intersection between religion and scent, and how we can work together to create the religious experience that we deserve through aroma. Whether you're a witch or you're not a witch, the experience that I had was actually in a Catholic church. And so this can be utilized by anybody of any faith or non-faith. You're looking to create your own experience, and I'm going to help you do that with plants, with aromatherapy, with perfume, with the ritual application of perfume. There's even, I must have moved it. One of my favorite books talks about the ritual use of magical perfumes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think you and I have talked about this book before. Mm-hmm. And so the way that people approach magic, incense is almost an afterthought. I want to make people understand that the ritual application of perfume and scent can really enhance your magic and create the relationship you're looking to have. Mm-hmm. Wholesale, like, bam, here you go. Mm-hmm. I'm going to teach you how to write over bad scent memories, that perfume that makes you think of your nasty ex and his cheating ways. Like, we're going to erase him from your memory banks with perfume. I'm so excited. It's going to be so much fun.
I'm excited. Perfume is one of my favorite fucking topics. So yes, please. We've definitely talked about the magic and perfume books. I can't remember what it's called right now. I can picture it.
Yes, Miller is the last name.
It has an archway on the cover.
And it looks like a bad sci-fi movie taking place in ancient Egypt.
It does. I think my perfume books are at the shop, because I move things back and forth a lot. But like, and I'm always like, I don't have that book here. But yes, I've that book has helped me tremendously when formulating certain occult perfumes that I was making. But yes, please. I want to talk so much about this. You talked about in the book one of the experiences where you were in a church and you had anxiety, and it all went away when you had the scent of frankincense and myrrh pop up, because that's what your high priestess, right, a recovering Catholic, has said, that was something that they put in ritual. And so you got so used to that scent being something of ritual and also security. And it was it became a feel good scent for you. And so for that to overcome your anxiety in the moment, and because that's what scent does. Talk to us about scent and the limbic system.
Yay. I usually do a little dance with a box of paper and some chutes and ladders action. When we picture the way we work through smell, people talk about, like in lavender buds going up your nose and into your brain, and your brain just knows that's what lavender is. And it's not. It's a box of office paper. It's a ream of office paper in a box. Every sheet of paper is a different day, and it just gets laid on top of the box. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, forever. So every time you smell something, I've got this beautiful Ever After lotion. Beep, beep, beep. Oh, it smells lovely. It smells like Earl Grey tea and berries. I'm not smelling the first time that I ever smelled this and filed it away in my memory bank. I'm smelling the most recent time I smelled it, because it's now a copy of a copy of a copy. So it might take a minute, but it's readily accessible. I can jump on top. I know what lavender smells like. I know that this benzoin smells creamy and custardy and gorgeous, because that's the most recent time I smelled it.
Mm-hmm.
The further back you go, the further back into that box of papers you've got to dig to find October 22nd, 1985. Like, that's a long way back. You're going to take some... I know, baby. My pit bull is giving me its dinner time face.
Oh.
She's wearing her pajamas, so she's already in her jammies. And
I love that your pit bull wears jammies.
So
poor Lou, you need jammies.
We're going through this system, trying to figure out how to get back to the first time we smelled it, the most recent time we smelled it. The neat part about that is, when we're looking at that repetition of those scents, it gets closer and closer to the top, so you don't have to work as hard to remember what lavender smells like, because I smelled it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But what that does for trauma victims says, hey, I can take away those pieces of paper, because it's now a copy of a copy of a copy. It makes it easier to sort of move it away. Those of us who remember mimeographs and those beautiful blue dittos, after the 300 times that piece of paper has been copied and copied and copied, it starts to drift.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Our memories of scent are doing the same drifting. So we can overwrite those memories with new things. We can take the comments, just fantastic.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not even paying attention. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm engaged.
we can take those memories and we can write over them with new information. And it's so empowering, because it's not just that we're no longer those same cells that experience this trauma, that talking about every 7 years or whatever, you're completely a new person. So it's not even that I'm no longer this person by my cells, but I have the control to say what lives in my experience and what doesn't, what has to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is so empowering to be able to say, I get to say what stays and goes. It's not just agency. You're actually rewriting over bad experiences. You've learned your lessons. You've done the things you need to do. It's not eternal sunshine of the spotless mind. It's we're creating new, better versions of ourselves through our ritual actions, and we deserve that release.
To remap something, to retake control of that thing, so it no longer does that trigger anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was, because you mentioned that in here, you mentioned really changing the experience, because you mentioned you talk about file cards, right? You're only going to go back a certain amount of time. You don't. If you can put enough file cards in there, enough sheets of paper on the copy, then you can get to a point where that doesn't even matter anymore. And it's funny, because people have these associations with smells, but I guess you can change them.
Mm-hmm.
God, I was just going to say, how many people talk about cigarettes? So we've got so Amber talks about growing up Catholic, frankincense, myrrh, and spikenard. And yeah, I want it too. I love perfumes, essential oils. This is from Teresa. I love perfumes, essential oils, aromatherapy, and all that amazing, awesome smelling shit. Combining that with magic and ritual is such a great idea. I've never considered it. I love it. Bring it on. Imprinting magical intentions with fucking perfume is my favorite. So Amber, my grandma's perfume mixed with cigarettes, smells like love. And then Jean says Chantilly lace and Newports, right? And then my dad's mom wore Chantilly. My mom's mom was Francis Denny Interlude and Lark Lights. Woo! Yeah.
My mother smoked Lark 100s.
it's so funny how many people I think growing up, my mom was a huge weed smoker, so it was like pot and cooking. It's like food, cooking, and pot, and pot and the smell of puzzles. I don't know what it is. But it's so funny how many people have like smoking in there.
It's funny because when we don't realize that when we smell something, we don't just recognize it. We've got to go through that file card system of, okay, this one's lavender, and this one's rose, and this one's lily, and this one's mugwort. You have to go through your memories to get to recognition. Like there's no pathway past memory. You have to go through the memories to get there, which is why these smells have such a strong correlation with our memories, because you have to walk through every single one to get to that smell you're looking for.
When I started designing perfumes, one of the things I did was get a lot of my close friends to come over and smell things and tell me what they liked so that I could make a perfume for them.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times when I smell things like oak moss, I think about a certain person. Like, oh, I remember when I mixed that perfume for you, or when I had to mix my own amber and what that was for. And so it's funny because a lot of my perfume smells, from 10, 12 years ago come from my learning during that period and designing perfumes specifically for certain people, which is lovely. And also, just a little PSA for all of you people out there who don't think it's important, label your shit.
Label all your shit.
I have. So I cleaned my altar, right? Cleaned out my altar, and I found so many fucking bottles that have literally nothing on them.
Because I'll remember.
I have so many samples of this one perfume that I made. I don't know what it is, but it smells amazing. And I'm sure I can. There's definitely what is that called? The cistus plant. Starts with an L. Fuck. The real thick one that you have to heat up to use. My brain is shutting down. But anyway, I have to go through, and I think there's ambrette seed in here too. And it's a lovely perfume, and I've smelled it a few times, but I'm like, which one was it? I don't know. It smells so good. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to separate them out and give them to my staff and be like, these are a gift. I don't know what they are, but they smell really good. It's in your gift bags for Christmas. But yeah, label your shit, people. Always. I don't know what this is. I have no idea what's in here.
There's the second project, the second thing in the pipeline.
Oh, yeah.
Is a book with my friend Natalie, who is just the bee's knees. You would love her. When we met, she had purple hair.
Sounds like my kind of chick.
Yes. She approached me to write something based on one of my Facebook pages like 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'll totally get to that. ADHD brain was like, haha, that's cute. You just tell yourself that.
We'll never think about this again.
So she came back to me earlier this year and said, hey, remember when I told you about that thing? Like, let's really do that. So the first iteration of the proposal is not the most recent one, but I think what we're aiming towards is ways to amplify your voice, ways to feel heard, ways to feel seen, and magical ways of making that happen. And so,
just a side note, everyone with purple hair is amazing.
Yes.
I love you, Rachel.
So you should wait for some announcements on those things.
I'm very excited about that. Ways to be heard, ways to be seen, ways to get your voice out there. Fuck yes, please. I love it. I love it. Time frame?
Spring 2024.
Okay. All right. And what about the perfume one? Is that next year?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to it. The perfume will come first.
What's your timeline for book release right now? Like what? Because you're on fucking fire. You were on this show in February of this year.
With a whole other book.
I know, and February of last year about a whole other books. So what you literally have two? Is this 2 in 1 year?
Yeah, February and November. This 5 bestsellers in 4 years.
Fuck yeah, dude! On fire.
So
I'm
I'm
tired.
hoping to have a little bit more leisurely of a pace.
Oh, you gonna slow down? Is that what you?
If I don't, I'll burn out, and that's what I don't want.
I keep saying the same thing. I'm gonna slow down too. But there's
And at some point, I'll mean it. I'm sure.
What's that?
At some point, I'm sure I'll mean it.
Wait, cue Alicia Keys. Who's? I don't know anything about music. What song are we talking about here? Does anybody know?
The only Alicia Keys song that comes immediately to mind is "Falling in Love with You."
Gene, you're gonna have to sing it for us. Give us some notes. So Gene says also that I should raffle off a bag of mystery WitchLab scents. Dude,
This girl is on fire.
Yes. This girl is on fire. I actually do know the song, evidently. And yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Yeah. Weiser's lucky to have you. Tell you what. And thank you, Judica, for making this happen. Oh, by the way, Judica and Catherine. I don't remember Catherine's last name. They're going to be on the show next month.
Fantastic.
No, January. Wait, I don't know. I got to look at schedules. I don't know. But also, we're trying to have a Christmas show. Did Mortellus talk to you at all?
No, but I would love to hear what that looks like, because last year was amazing.
So, Mortellus and I spoke. Oh my God, this was a couple of months ago, and we were because we had to reschedule for December, and I was like, well, I guess we're just gonna have to have a holiday show. And I kicked the idea. I was like, what if we invite some other people on to the holiday show? And she immediately came at me with a list. Because I was like, I'd like these people. And then she was like, I'd like these people. You were on both lists, by the way. And so
I don't care what day it is, I'm free.
And then it's going to be well, I assume it's going to be a Wednesday. I think we might have a date. Hold on. Let me get as far enough away from my phone as I can so I can see it. December 28th. Nice. So it's actually after Christmas. It's between Christmas. So we're going to call it the holiday show because it's between Christmas and New Year's and every other holiday that was holiday show. But yeah. So I'm putting
it on my calendar right now.
And you all should take a moment and put it on your calendar, December 28th. Yeah, for those of you who weren't there for the last holiday show, it was insane. It was started with a million technical difficulties.
And this one falls right in the middle of a Mercury retrograde.
Fantastic. I'll have to get my Mercury retrograde insurance back out. Which is, there we go. There we go. I mostly just put this on my altar during that time so that I can. There we go. My little buddy here. I'm like, no, make things easier.
I've got a dry erase marker and I am not afraid to use it.
Yes. But yeah, we've got it. We've got some people. We need to approach those people and see if they want to do it. But you are definitely on the list, and I figured I would just ask you in person tonight, not to put you on the spot, but the fact that you put it on your calendar, I think we're pretty safe.
Yeah. I would call in from the hospital for
that. Requirements are some sort of terrible sweater. I mean, I'm gonna have to get a new one for this year, which is weird that I now have a collection of Christmas sweaters. I've never had one before. But yeah, the last Christmas show was weird and fun and insane. I don't know if any of you have seen the Star Wars Christmas special that happened a long time ago, but it's kind of like that. Didn't make a lot of sense.
Still a good time.
It was a really good time.
Santa Claus, sex work. It works.
Yeah. We're just gonna make it happen. But yeah. So you might be on the show next month too.
I'm okay with it.
But I've never done StreamYard with more than 2 people, so I have no idea. It tells me I can have up to 10. But I think the people that we want to have on, it's like 5 total. So
totally do a Brady Bunch grid thing. It's fine.
Oh my God. I wonder if it does that. And then we can all be like, oh, down with that. That sounds awesome. Yeah, last year Mortellus had a bunch of super interesting shit about how Santa Claus was the patron saint of prostitutes, sex workers, which that was wonderful. I forget what else we talked about. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was fun. Did you see it?
I was there.
You wait at the Christmas special. The Mortellus did. Were you on the show too?
I don't remember if I was on the show or if I was just watching from here, but I was here. I was there the whole time.
Okay. I'm like, wait, were you on the show? Oh God. I forget things.
But I mean, I forget things. I could have been on the StreamYard, could have been just watching from home.
What's your favorite Christmas movie? Holiday movie?
Die Hard.
Yes! God, I love you so much.
But very, very close. In the number one is The Long Kiss Goodnight. Gina Davis and Samuel L. Jackson. Another action movie that takes place at Christmas.
I have not seen that.
It's one of my favorites.
Samuel L. Jackson and who?
Gina Davis.
Damn, I love her.
Yeah, she's a an elementary school teacher who, with amnesia, who tried to figure out who she was, and it turns out she was a spy.
Wow. Okay.
Hot.
All right.
Hot.
Hot. Oh, do you remember what was that? Quick Change? Did you ever see Quick Change? Gina Davis and Bill Murray and Randy Quaid. Fantastic. Anyway, this is not a Christmas movie, just random. They were bank robbers, but hot. Another Gina Davis hot movie. Big, she's hot. She's always been hot. God, even in fucking Beetlejuice, where they dress her like a fucking Mormon, she is fucking hot.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. All right. Let's see. Holiday Witches alcohol chatting. Yep, for sure. We're going to be doing that. But yeah, I want to hear about people's favorite Christmas movies. I remember when that movie came out. God, oh, are you talking about Die Hard or what was the other one? The Long Kiss Goodnight?
Yes.
Long Kiss Goodnight. Vendela Creme and Jinx Monsoon's holiday special is the best. Jinx Monsoon is my personal favorite of all of the Drag Race. I actually have a pop star of her because my daughter gave me that. She's in my closet with the rest of my action figures that stare at me while I get changed. I know. It's weird. It makes me happy. It's fine.
It's hard for me to have favorite Christmas movies. I always liked the claymation ones, like the original Rudolph done claymation.
Rankin Bass. Wait.
Yes.
Rankin Bass. Jesus. Rankin Bass. Rankin Bass is fucking amazing. The Santa Claus is Coming to Town. One of my favorites.
My Christmas holiday memories are things like it. As a kid, it didn't even occur to me what was going on. Just so happens that the Saturday before Christmas every year, we mysteriously had an electrical outage. So we would wrap Christmas presents in the dark by candlelight. And I just thought that was the coolest thing as a kid, and how on Monday morning we'd go to lunch with our grandfather, and mysteriously by the time we got home, the power would be back on. We just thought it was magic because my grandfather worked for the power company. Not that my mother was going to lunch and saying, "Dad, can you pay my power bill?"
Oh.
So we would just not have electricity for the weekend before Christmas every year. And as you know, an 8-year-old, you're like, cool, I don't have to bother with my siblings. That's fine. There's nobody fighting over the TV. You don't think about, oh, hey, I wonder how it just so happens that we're the only house in the neighborhood without electricity for the right before Christmas.
So was she saving money for the presents? Got you. Oh my goodness. Stop. Maeve's mad that she's locked out.
It's a hard life.
It is. It's a hard it's a hard knock life for you, dog. Okay, so my favorite They're newer. I really like Elf.
Yeah.
Elf is amazing. I just watched it the other night. And Krampus, the movie, surprisingly captivating, compelling. I don't know. I love it. It's become a ritual for me and my daughter. We watch it every year. There's like sometime in December, there will be the night. We don't know when that's going to come, but it'd be like, tonight feels like the night. We're going to make some hot chocolate. We're going to get under blankets. We're going to put on Krampus. We're just going to watch the whole thing. I think it's one of the best new Christmas movies we have. Like, it's way better than that bullshit. Oh God, what's his name? Who? Tombstone, the sheriff. The fuck's his name?
Kurt Russell.
Yes. So Kurt Russell is Santa Claus in the Christmas Chronicles.
Yeah.
Fucking trash. It's fucking terrible. It's so bad. The second one actually has the kid from Deadpool 2, so that one saves a little bit. But
yeah,
and it has his wife, not wife,
Goldie Hawn. Yes,
and I love
Life
her.
Partner.
Yes, I will watch her in anything. So she saves that. But the first one, fucking terrible.
I love that you knew that I would know who he was from Tombstone, and not like
Wyatt Earp. That's right.
Something else.
We're just gonna play the pyramid game.
I'm your Huckleberry. It's fine.
I'm your Huckleberry. Yeah. Do
you know what it means? Do you know what
I just read it the other day, but please, yeah, and I might be wrong. So yes, tell us.
So a huckle is the handle on a casket. They have the little face cut out, and so a huckleberry is a pallbearer. So I'm your ride or die is the new translation. Like I will carry you to the end. That's fucking awesome. That is beautiful, and it's touching, and also gets me right in the heart place.
I love the term ride or die. I think one of the first times I ever saw it was on Sex and the City when she talks about Miranda. Is it Miranda? Being her ride or die.
Oh,
like this is my ride or die. Like this is my person. I'm lucky. I feel like I have a few of those. Like I feel like I got a couple of people that are definitely going to be in my gang.
I would totally cut somebody for you.
This made all of it worth it. Yes. Where's my pen? I don't. But Amy Blackthorn said she would cut somebody for me. And that's
like the best IOU ever.
It's November 16th, 2022. For all of you listening, Amy Blackthorn said she would cut somebody for me. Also, ditto, friend. Same. I'd cut numerous bitches for you. Thank you for decoding clarification on Huckleberry, Amy.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know you made it in life. When Amy Blackthorn will cut a bitch for you. Y'all hear that? Sure you all heard that shit. Fuck yeah. The biggest badass in the current magical community. I feel like, that's pretty sweet. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
What else you want to talk about? What else we do? Where else we going? How much time you got? It's already.
I have forever for you.
Oh, fuck, sweet. Where else we going? What do you want to talk about?
I just thought of something. Let me. What is your witchcraft bucket list? Like, there's got to be some cool stuff in there. Everybody wants to talk about between Samhain and Year's End, and everybody's talking about the ideas that they've come to fruition in this year. Like, what is on your witchcraft bucket list? Places to go, people to see, stuff to do, stuff to see.
My witchcraft bucket list? Mine?
Yeah, you personally. Even one thing.
Ready for this?
So ready.
I am working on making a sort of a speakeasy members witchcraft nightclub. I'm kicking around the name Haxon Manor because I have this space and I'm going to decorate it, and I have all these visions and goals, and the first people who will be in this space is going to be Jason Mankey and Estrella Taylor. And I don't know how close I can get to my goal by the time they get here, which is going to be December 8th. But I have plans, friend. I have plans. My goal is to always further the community and to offer them the things that we want. What do we want? We want to get drunk and have a good time. But seriously, it is. This is what I've been working on. Is I'm I'm getting the place next door to WitchLab, and I'm going to create a space that is for events, but also for us weirdos to be comfortable. And yeah, so that's on my bucket list. Also, to actually work my way through, honestly, Matt Oren's Psychic Witch book because I feel like I could benefit myself and my community if I were to up my skills. Mm-hmm. And my skills are okay. I mean, I usually know what people are going to say before they say it. I usually know what the people around me are feeling or thinking. I have a lot of psychic abilities, but I feel like they could be better. And I feel like if I could make them better, I could help people more. And so that's my other one. Those are my two. I'm gonna create a to own a nightclub lounge has always been a dream, and to own one that is witch based. So that when you go there, you feel magical. So that when you go there for ritual, you feel atmosphere has always been a thing for me. Yeah. Atmosphere helps my witch. It helps my power. I feel like it helps other people tap into what they didn't know was magical about themselves. So I just want to bring that. What's on your witchcraft bucket list?
You know, I asked it before I even thought about what my answer would be.
Best answer ever.
Well, it's the thing. I have worked so hard to be present and to do the things that I wanted to do before I died now. Because I've been dead. Like, any minute above ground is bonus at this point. You know?
I think about that, what that fucking does to your brain. As in, like, I feel like I died when I was 5. So I feel like it's not the same as when you're an adult. Because when you're an adult, you have, like, at 5, I wasn't like, I'm going to eat clean and, like, like, it wasn't the same. But I feel like, that's something that snaps shit into perspective. And then you're like, what does it actually mean to be happy? So go. I'm gonna stop cutting you off now. Go.
So I went to Salem. I went to Stonehenge. I keep going to these really amazing places and doing cool things that teenager me would never have imagined I'd be able to do. Like that's who I'm living for, is teenager me who is very sad and lonely, doing the things. You want a secret? Everyone?
What you got? What you got?
So I'm going to be coming to your neck of the woods in the spring.
Oh, yeah?
Because I got a little birdie called me and said that you dropped my name. Said, hey, you should totally talk to Amy Blackthorn because she's cool. So my current plan is this spring to come and visit the Buckland Museum.
Yes.
And make a donation. Do you know? Did they tell you what was that? With
Tony has not told me any of this yet.
Okay, so since it's just us here,
just us.
Just us.
What is it? I can't see it.
That is the manuscript for Scott Cunningham's Incenses, Oils, and Brews.
What?
Autographed by Raymond Buckland with a little note. It says 11th Light Ray. So I'm donating this to the museum.
Oh my God! I can't.
Like, that's a real typewriter. Like, these are handwritten little editorial notes in the margins.
Tony, why are you holding out on me? Well, Tony's really good at discretion. I actually appreciate her for that. But Jesus, fuck, that's cool.
So
it's one of my favorite books.
This has been in my safe deposit box since 2005, I think. 2006, maybe.
How did you come upon this?
God, I don't know what the year is anymore. What is the year? The year is going to be stamped in here. September 12th, 2005. I received it as the winning bidder in an auction to benefit Hurricane Katrina victims. So it has been in my possession.
Tony is here. I didn't know about this. You didn't tell me this. Again, she's discreet, which I appreciate. But what?
I just want people to go to the Buckland Museum and give them all your dollars. The
Buckland Museum has a new Krampus shirt out, by the way. You guys should go check it out and order one. They're really cool.
I should order that for my ugly Christmas sweater.
Mm-hmm.
Love
it.
So I'm looking forward to coming to visit you sometime soon.
So you're going to be in Ohio.
Yes.
In the spring.
Like, one day I'm just going to open the door and you'll be like, oh my God, there's an 8-foot tall Amazon coming to hug me. Squeeze the life out of me.
You're 8 feet tall?
I'm 6 feet tall.
Are you really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Then I put shoes on and I just loom over people.
Oh, I love it. Yes. I love tall people. Yes. I love to hug them. I love to hug everybody, but yeah. Oh, that's so fucking amazing. But Buckland and Cunningham, what? All together now. It is fucking cool. Oh my God, that's so exciting. So your bucket list item then would be to come to Ohio? It's a weird witchcraft bucket list, although I feel like Tony and Steve and I are really working on making the Ohio area someplace to come. And not that the other shops aren't, but like, I feel like, I don't know. I'm excited that I'm at least a part of the plan.
Yes, I will absolutely just walk in one day and be like, oh my God, I'm here.
No, you won't, because we have to schedule things.
Well, okay.
We have to make sure that you're going to do class. Also, I have to make sure that I'm going to be around. Like I need to, the amount of people who go in are like, where's Tiffany? And they're like, she's not here.
She doesn't work here. What are you talking about?
I do work there.
No,
I'm either hiding or I'm at home doing work because, I'm actually displaced out of my office currently. I don't have an office at the shop and it makes me nuts. So my office is filled with sound equipment.
So my witchcraft bucket list contains meeting as many amazing humans like yourself as I possibly can. Every shop I've ever been to has something amazing and incredible that makes their shop wholly theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I get to visit a new one, there's something new and amazing that I'd never heard of and never seen, and people I'd never met. And that's what makes it worth doing. People want to make it seem like, there's such competition in witchcraft stores, and it's like, it doesn't have to be that way. We're all part of the same community. It's not a competition. We're all
not here, man. Not here. Matter of fact, I want to take you on a tour.
Yay!
Let's go visit everybody, because literally, like, we are trying very hard to not have that here. We don't want that. Like, the shops that are willing, we get together, we hang out, we're friends. I love them. I fucking love those people. We sponsor each other's events. We come to each other's events. We hang out. The
It's so
Magical
pretty.
Druid just moved into a new big space. I love, yeah, I love our other shops. Yeah, we have a lot here. So yeah, we'll go on a tour. You can
Yes.
go meet all of the witchy people in town. And I haven't been to all of the shops because some shops have opened after we opened, which means that I haven't had a chance to go see them because my day's off or their day's off, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, we'll go on a tour.
I just want to see. I want to see a witchy. I want to see a witchy store in every state.
Have you? I feel like we talked. You went to Salem? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my most recent visit was in beginning of October. A dear friend of mine came to visit from the UK, and I had her. She was here for 3 weeks, but she had to, obviously she divvied up her time, and she said, I've got like 3 or 4 days earmarked for you, and so she was just going to come here and hang out. I'm like, you're here from England. Let's do something fun while you're here. And I said, I wish I could just sneak you up to Salem for a couple days. And so we literally drove up on Tuesday and drove back on Thursday.
Hey man, how far was the drive?
6 hours.
Fuck.
Yeah, it took 8 hours to get home because of traffic and road work and construction and all sorts of road follies. But it's such a fun trip to go and do. And so I got to talk to Leanne from Pentagram, and I'm going to go back in April for tax day and do a witchy class. I think we're doing protection magic for
on tax day.
On tax day.
That's smart. Michelle, who was I don't know if, Michelle, I don't know if you're still watching or not. She was on when we very first started. She's a friend of mine, regular client. I get to see her a decent amount. She's wonderful, but she goes to Salem every year. Like it's like a pilgrimage, her and her friends, and the pictures and the stories and I've never been, and I want to go. Actually, you know what? That should be on my fucking bucket list, is going to fucking Salem.
Well, if you drive to Delaware, I will drive you up to Salem. We will go party.
I do not like travel as far as like driving a lot. But here's the thing. If I flew out to you, then we could drive up there. That wouldn't be so bad. And if I'm going to Delaware, I need to see Evo. I need to make my rounds. How far away is Mortellus from you?
8 hours-ish.
Okay. So it's about the same from me, probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not bad.
We must
the most recent trip,
like a triangle, because like Ohio to Delaware, and then like where, because they're south.
Yes,
of you,
just
right?
outside of Asheville, and
that's right.
Tryon is. I was like, it's the cutest little main street you ever did see. Something on the Hallmark Channel. It's adorable.
I am a sucker for a good main street.
Some friends moved back to his parents. They have a liquor store that's also a bakery. It's like, yes, this is amazing.
Lovely.
It's perfect.
But yeah, I would love that. I want to travel more. Something that I've always been working on with WitchLab is I have a fantastic staff. Rivka, my general manager, she runs the shop. And then the rest of my staff, they're fucking warriors, every one of them. Kate, Jay, Allie, Gail, Marianne. Who am I forgetting? Am I forgetting anybody? If I'm forgetting anybody, I'm so sorry. But like, they make that shit run like clockwork, and they do a really good job. And because of that, I can think about traveling. I can think about going out and, well, first I have to go antiquing and thrift storing everywhere. Which means I'll probably have to drive anyway. Damn it. I've been thinking about what kind of car I need to like go and travel the world. Well, travel the United States and bring back all of the sweet, sweet, weird shit.
Highly recommend Xterras.
Really?
I've been driving one since 2005, or at least I have been driving them. I haven't. It's not been the same one. I put 100,000 miles on it, and I get a new one.
Xterra? Who makes that?
Nissan.
Okay.
They're amazing. So do you know what a Pathfinder is?
Mm-hmm.
It's the smaller, sportier Pathfinder.
Okay.
It goes Xterra, Pathfinder, Armada.
Armada. I love the sound of that.
Yes, Armada is if you took the Xterra and you stretched it out to be a suburban size.
Okay. I actually saw what has become my new dream car in the parking lot of Kroger the other day. The new Tahoe?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 2023, I think this one was 2022, but I've never really wanted an SUV ever in my life. I drive a minivan. I drive a minivan because I have 3 kids and because also I have stow and go seating, which means the entire back of the minivan becomes a big empty fucking van.
Nice.
It's literally with like the pull of 3 things, like 3 little things. Like it all fucking lays down so I've got 7 feet by like 4 feet by, I don't know, like 5 feet. But to be able to put everything in. And I was walking past this Tahoe the other day and I'm just like, damn, what the fuck is that? That's kind of sexy. Turns out it has the same kind of seating my car has.
Nice.
But it's not a minivan. I get a lot of flack for driving a minivan. So. Hey man, it works for my life. Fuck you.
I have an inflatable mattress that is fit for the back seat of the Xterra, and then you have the cargo space behind it.
Son of a bitch, that's great.
But they also have the fold flat stow and go seating. And the 2005, I missed this. This is one feature I wish they had kept. The passenger seat, the front passenger seat, actually lays flat as well. It has a little button right there where the shoulder is, and it flips forward flat, so you can. Half of the stuff in my house is IKEA because I was able to put it in my Xterra and bring it home myself with 2 hands.
Right? Being able to be self-sufficient is the fucking best thing ever. Like, I don't need anybody else. I can just get it in this fucking car. I can lift anything for 3 seconds. Literally. Yeah, I've definitely picked up things off the side of the road that I should not be able to lift. But I'm like, nobody else is here, and I'm not leaving this here. Get this in here. If anyone sees me, I look ridiculous. But
it's the power of witchcraft. The power of witchcraft compels you. You just gotta.
Yes, the power of witchcraft compels me to get this fucking ancient thing into my car. I don't care that it's solid wood, but look at the fucking detail. Yeah, I've definitely strained myself, but my car can take it. But yeah, I don't know why we started talking about cars. But yeah, so I want to. Oh, that's right, because I want to travel and like bring stuff back to the shop. I want to be able to like go to all the weird places and find weird shit and not have to worry about, having too small of a car. So
although the gem mines in Asheville, like just that alone is worth the trip. I went out to Chimney Rock on the first or second day that I was there, and there was one entire shop the size of 3 McDonald's. It was just crystal balls, just different stone balls.
3 McDonald's. That's such a specific. So here in Gahanna, Ohio, where I live, we actually have 2 different McDonald's. One is a literally drive up, walk up only. So it's like a little McDonald's, and then we have a massive. So McDonald's as a unit of measure here is a little tricky.
All I can think about is the news story about the sinkhole that opened up, and the woman who described it was like 6 or 7 washing machines, and the content was Americans will use anything but the metric system.
That's true.
Yeah, that's about it. That's exactly the speed.
We once bought Dermested. It was actually, this is my friend. She bought Dermested beetles.
Uh-huh.
And she bought a bologna's worth. I'm gonna break this down for you so you understand. Dude took a potato masher, put a slice of bologna in it, put it down in the tank, and everything, all the Dermestids that covered the bologna slice, he pulled up and shook into a bag. This is a bologna's worth of domestic beetles, by the way. So, yeah, units of measure are very specific, helpful, but, sometimes need some explanation. So again, at McDonald's, it could be anything. We got a lot of weird ones around here. But I get it. The size of a fast food restaurant.
Just crystal balls. Just stones. And
I want to see that. But also I don't, because
you will buy them all.
Because I have a problem. I literally made two orders yesterday for stones. One, I found a new company that makes these. I have a thing for ghosts, like cartoon ghosts. They're on like my skirt right now. I love cartoon ghosts. Like with sheets, I collect ceramic ones and stuff. I found a stone company that's, how we have like little crystal dicks? They're making little crystal ghosts.
13 Circles in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. I was there doing a book signing last weekend. And she has the little crystal ghosts.
Wait, Conshohocken? Go ahead. Yeah. Wait. So they're in Pennsylvania. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Conshohocken. It's a suburb of Philly.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's where I know. I lived in Philly for 6 years. I know where that is. I was literally confusing it with a place here in Ohio because we have another town that's really close to that word. But anyway.
So when they opened, I was going. Say what?
I need to find a pen. Okay, just hold it because I didn't bring one. I need to hold on. Okay? So this is the point in the interview where I need to fucking write shit down.
I love you.
We talked about this earlier. In the life of every book and every interview, there comes a time. Oh, come on, give me the notebook. It's like a Rube Goldberg machine of math. Just so you know. I'm like, seriously, I have a stuffed skunk and a box of it. You don't want to know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, 13 circles. That's what you said.
In Conshohocken. So she has a whole table set up with just the teeny tiny figurines from whatever vendor. One of them is yellow fluorite rubber duckies this big. I died. I had to go to the dollar bin in Target and get my this little coffin shaped shelf that I painted with the black 2.0 from Stuart Semple.
I have that. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
For the teeny tiny little figurines that I'm buying from the rock vendors.
I love it. Oh my god, I love it.
This is pink amethyst from a different vendor. But it had little crystally bits. I'm like, I have to have it. It's gonna go in my little coffin.
I know. Also, Betty, I am not blitzed, okay? Shut up. I am fine. But yeah, it's the finding these like cool things that I didn't know existed. I was trying to find a supplier for something else, and then I found this place, and I was just like, "Are those little ghosts? Are those little ghosts?" Yeah. All right. 13 circles.
Yeah. This is Lily Cheshire. She's on Facebook. She's fabulous. She is the proprietor. She's the founder. I'm not sure which term she uses of Witch's Way Craft. She does wholesale witchy candles that she makes in her house with her husband, who is a doll and two halves.
Love that.
They're just the sweetest people, and she's got 80 gajillion followers. She does wholesale her candles from Philadelphia. She was I could be misremembering. Please don't hold me to it. I believe she was one of the candle makers for Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab once upon a time.
Okay.
And that's how we met. So if you do check in with her, she does wholesale witchy candles that are the most entrancing and gorgeous and beautiful things. She does I have one of her very first witchy candle is called Better Days. It's like high and sweet champagne-y citruses in antique glass.
Ah,
Like I have one downstairs. It's a burgundy teacup that's all crown glass and faceted, beautiful, just gorgeous. But she does wholesale. So if you were looking
oh,
for a new vendor, she's beautiful, and I love her stuff. Her deadly attraction spell smells like lust and citrus.
what? Lust and citrus?
Hmm.
Mm. So
If
is
sexy
this,
times, if sexy times had a citrus note to it, that's what it would smell like.
and this is the lead Cheshire person?
Hmm. Which
Great.
is way craft.
Wonderful. I got that, which is Waycraft. I'm always looking for new fun stuff because as a a shop owner, it's part of my job to introduce things to my community, right? Like it's my job to like be the person who's like, oh, look at this cool shit, right? Like, um, so thank you. I really appreciate that. I will take any vendor suggestions that you have because most likely if you're giving them, then they're awesome people too. Like that they're part of like the community, and I want to give money back into the community always.
I will tell you, I was having a difficult day on Saturday. Saturday was a hard day. Um, I had a potentially dangerous situation, and I didn't want to cancel my appearance, but I also knew that it could have been an issue. So of course I let the shop owner know, like, this is what's up. And she was the most capable and helpful person that I needed at that moment, who was also emotionally there for me at the moment to make sure that everything went off without a hitch. And the person I was worried about showing up obviously didn't. Well, it's not obvious. I handle my shit. But it was amazing to feel seen and supported and nourished in a way that I knew I didn't have to worry about anything.
What shop were you at on Saturday?
13 Circles.
Oh, that's the same place. Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
Lily.
got you. That's wonderful, and that makes me so happy that they took care of you, made you feel safe, or helped you to feel safe. Because that's it's your experience there is so important. Like as a person who puts on events, the person who's coming to do the event and the people who are coming to watch the event or be a part of the event, like this, it's our job to make sure that you guys are safe and happy and feel fulfilled. Maybe I am blitzed. But I'm serious though. It's my favorite part of my job is making other people feel good.
And you do a beautiful job.
Thank you. I try. I don't want anyone's life to be shittier because I'm in it. I think it's a basic that's a basic need for me. Maybe that's because I'm lots of trauma-ridden bullshit and stuff, and because I'm a people
Disco ball.
pleaser. Right? I have so many disco balls. It's ridiculous. Too late for what? Was it? Oh shit! What? Too late for what? Well, yeah, you can't please all the people all the time, I guess.
And that's the thing. I wish more authors felt comfortable talking about publicly. I know we chatted about this for talking about protection magic, but it can be dangerous to be an author of witchcraft books.
Absolutely.
There are some unhinged people in the world who use magic to justify their delusions, and it can be scary. There was a guy 2 years ago who fixated on witchcraft authors here in Delaware with his paranoid delusions that we were out to get him, and like that stuff can be really scary. We're in the public eye, which makes it even harder.
You're easier to find is the problem.
And we have to be for our job.
You have to be. Right. You have to advertise, you have to be out there, and then they're like, oh, well, when they're looking for someone, you're an easy target.
Yeah. people send us weird things. People send us threats. People can be awful. It's definitely not a perk of the job that gets discussed. Weird people will know how to find you. But people like you make it worthwhile to accept the risk of being part of a public community.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
Welcome.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing. So, no idea. I am literally every decision I make is just based on what I think is the best thing to do. But the connections that I have made from this show and the opportunities that it has afforded me to learn, to grow, to really actually know the people in this community. It has been one of the most amazing parts of my life. Also one of the scariest, right? Because being on a live show, like, to all of the people who are watching me currently, I'm still terrified of this, but it's because I get to be in the presence of people like you, of you. I get to be in your presence, and I get to hang out with you, and I get to talk to you about what makes you tick and where you're going and why you've done the things you've done. The people who are shooting up as beacons, and you are a beacon. You are a beacon for people to go to when they are looking for guidance for so many fucking things now. My God. your catalog just keeps getting bigger and bigger. But to be in the presence of you guys is humbling, and I am honored, and I feel I'm just fucking lucky to be here. And I'm going to continue to make WitchLab a destination for people to, because I want my people around me to see how awesome you guys are in person. Like I want them to experience listening to the beacons in our community. Come talk. Give us your experience. Show us things, and also learn from my weird community. You're going to come here and see all of my regular weirdo people, and they're going to ask you all kinds of weirdo questions, and and you'll learn from them because they're fucking lovely and wonderful.
And I'm going to hug your neck.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be great. But yeah, this is I really love the community that I'm a part of, both locally, because again, the shops around here, we're very tight, at least as many as will be involved, not all of them. And I don't think it's even that there's animosity. I think that maybe they're scared or don't have time, or imposter syndrome is real, and everybody, I think, has got it, and it's fucking terrifying. But when you are asked to come be a part of something like the Columbus Pagan Mafia, how do you say no? Yes, I want to be a part of that. But yeah, but to be able to bring you guys in to see my people, because I'm gathering people all the time. And then I'm like, look at what I bring you, Amy Blackthorn. Eventually I'll have big curtains and this is my dream.
Can you watch me make cocktails on stage live?
Oh my God, shut up. That would be fucking amazing. I can get you assistants and everything.
Hey, you never had a corpse reviver until you had an Amy Blackthorn corpse reviver.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah. I don't even know where this started. It turned into a huge love fest. The people who are still hanging on in this interview are just like, wow, you guys are nuts. It's true.
Valid.
I feel like I should probably let you go. It's 11 o'clock on the dot. It's 11 o'clock right now. Okay. Tell the people where they can find you. Oh, and where they can order a signed copy of Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness.
Blackthorn's Botanical Wellness, as well as the first 30 pages of every single one of my books, can be downloaded for free on amyblackthorn.com, where you can also order autographed copies. It will take you directly to my tea shop, Blackthorn's Botanicals, where you can find autographed copies of all my books. Right there, it's the
Sweet
same
teas.
price. If you fancy some tea while you're there, that's fine. I appreciate you.
Always get some tea.
And there you'll find tarot teas and deities and
No, you didn't.
I did. I absolutely just did. Hecate is my most popular deity tea. It's the Morrigan is a very close second.
Mhm.
It's Lapsang Souchong with notes of apple and hawthorn, and there's like a smoke in the back of your nose of distant fires. Like that's what I'm going for. But everything from traditional astrology and tarot to traditional recipes. So I've been doing this for almost 8 years. In February it'll be 8 years, and in February it'll be 9 years. It's just been a hell of a ride, and I love every single one of you people. So yeah, blackthornsbotanicals.com, amyblackthorn.com. I have social media literally everywhere. I'm on TikTok, Amy Blackthorn Author, and as well as Instagram is the same. I do this because I want to see the light bulb moment that people get when they connect something I'm talking about with something that's happening in their life. And so that's what I get paid in. Light bulbs.
Dopamine light bulbs.
Yep. That's my currency.
That's the goods right there. Okay. I feel like we should wrap up. I feel like there was a lot of rambling. This has been a completely rambling, because I feel like the more I know someone, the less I prepare for an interview. I'm like, we'll be fine. We're just going to talk, which I think we did.
Yeah, we definitely talked.
We talked a lot, and we're going to talk again because you're going to be on the Christmas special.
Hooray!
I'm so excited about Christmas this year. I holidays, whatever. I don't give a shit about Christ, obviously, but like, like I fucking love Christmas, and I'm very excited. I evidently am addicted to. I have a new problem this year, is that everywhere I go that has a sexy deer, I have to buy it. Oh man, so far I've bought, and so basically, sexy deer means any deer that has sparkles of some kind, glitter, and some kind of like fur wrap around their neck. I'm buying them all. My kitchen table is growing with the things that I have bought. I have a problem, but I'm going to use it for good. I promise. But yeah, they are. Jason has seen them. They are fabulous deer. I am buying fabulous deer, friends. And I'm actually thinking about making this whole Christmas display in WitchLab, because I also collect houses, like weird, not exactly doll houses, but like weird, cute little houses. I don't know, whatever. I'm gonna do a whole thing. Anyway.
Well, I'm gonna have to make Lust and Citrus a perfume for the new book.
Yes, you will. And when you come here, you will have to bring me some. Hooray! Which will be in the spring. Amy Blackthorn is coming to Columbus and Cleveland in the spring. Ohio. You're coming to Ohio.
I need to stretch my legs.
Yeah, you need to get out here.
Yeah.
And I have many sweet animals just at my home that you can hang out with. So
on the floor with all the fur.
Yeah, we will keep you in fur babies the whole time you're here. I promise you. Tony has some sweet dogs, and I have some sweet dogs, but we'll be fine.
It'll be amazing.
It will be amazing. All right. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out with us. Once again, Amy Blackthorn, award-winning author of so many books by Wiser. If you would like to check it out, Wiser Red Wheel is where her publisher is. And I will see all of you soon. I will see you all. Jean, you are our kind of fabulous as fucking well. Bitch, I love you so fucking much. You amazing. Thank you for everything that you do. Rachel, I love you. You guys are amazing. But yeah, Christmas special, December 28th. What? Holiday special, December 28th.
Perfect.
There'll be eggnog and sweaters. Everyone have a wonderful evening. Bye. Good night. Bye.